welcome to another edition of Medina Matters. I'm your host, Jared Fry, General Manager of Medina TV, and I'm also joined by my co-host,
Jacqueline Rinksmeyer, Executive Director at the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce.
And welcome back, Jacqueline. Nice to have you for episode 2 now. We survived
Absolutely.
one, and now back for
To
another one.
rave reviews, by the way.
Exactly.
Just saying.
A lot of good comments from everybody about that, and we searched long and hard and came up with great guests this time to even step up from some episode 1, right?
Absolutely. No pressure today. Special guest, no pressure.
And our special guest today is Jansen Wehrley, a man of many titles here. You can help me get this right. The Director of Parks, Cemetery, Forestry,
and
Recreation. So
He's our own Leslie Knope.
And we're glad to have him here with us today. Jansen, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Happy to be here.
You look like it. I'm getting the enthusiasm from across
Why does everyone always seem so nervous when it first starts?
Are we intimidated?
I know. I don't understand.
Feel like
3 days from Memorial Day. Pool's got to open.
Yep.
Splash pad's got to open. Square's got to be ready.
Right.
There you go.
And in fact, we did make an attempt to do this recording at Memorial Park, and it was hopping today. So before the weekend even got here, it's a popular location.
Into school parties.
That's right. Everyone's celebrating the end of school, and with the end of school comes a lot of important things. We'll touch on that in a minute. I'll tease it, but the pool opening is one of the big events that you have coming up here on Memorial Day. But first, let's take a minute for those that may not know you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Medina. Graduated from Medina High School. Started working for the city in 2001 when I was in high school.
Okay.
As a seasonal employee, actually, at our cemetery, and then kind of moved on to our forestry department in a part-time role, and took a little break to work for a private company while I was in college, and then ended up coming back to Medina and getting started in my career here, which I'm very fortunate for because I know the community. I've
Makes a
played
big
in
difference.
many of the sports associations that I work with, and have been in and around the community events for many years, and offers a unique. I have the ability to offer a unique perspective to our employees because I've done the jobs that they're doing, and can help them with guidance and development and things of that nature. So, yeah, proud to be from Medina.
Yeah, and then family.
Yeah, my entire family, besides my wife, of course, is originally from Medina. I got 2 kids. We live just south of Medina in Seville. But my wife works in the school district, and we're in and around Medina on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yep, Medina through and through.
And that's an interesting thing too. You see a lot of people that do that. They come in here and how involved they are in the community, in the workforce, and both husbands and wives, and how much is invested in the city. And that's a good thing to see in regards to the city and the pride people take in it.
Absolutely. And Jansen touched on it too. A lot of us take a minute to get out of it, and then we're like, turns out this is where we want to be. So like we're back home. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. So you wear many hats. You said cemetery, forestry, rec. What else?
Parks.
Parks. What's
Can't
your
forget the
favorite?
parks.
Can't forget the parks.
Honestly, probably the parks.
Yeah.
For me, it's the most rewarding because it serves the entire population in the community. From individuals with special needs at Sam Macy Park to young children, at our splash pads and beginning level of organized play and our sports associations, to our skate park, to our remote controlled vehicle park at Reagan Park. It's just very rewarding for me and for our staff to see the fruits of our labor, what we work on day in and day out, and to see people in the community in Medina and from surrounding communities enjoying what we're doing and what we have here. We're pretty fortunate to have about 800 acres of parkland, and we maintain about 130 acres. And over the years, we've had a lot of park development, so a lot of what I do is repair and replacement projects of things that have been around for a very long time, and it's rewarding to be able to bring some of those amenities back to life and reimagined, and still see them enjoyed by kids today.
Mm-hmm. We do have some specialties within our parks, and I always get a thrill when I'll see somebody post something about like disc golfing in the city of Medina, or like you said, the remote controlled vehicles. Like, is that unique for the municipalities to have such offerings?
At the time when our disc golf course went in,
Mm-hmm.
1978, I believe is what it was. It was the first disc golf course in the state of Ohio,
Well,
which is pretty neat. Not a
that's
lot of
cool
people know
trivia.
that.
Yeah.
We have 2 disc golf courses. One at Roscoe Ewing Park has 27 holes, and then a more beginner course at Memorial Park that's 9 holes. It is unique to have that many, I would say. Our remote controlled track, I believe, is it's for sure one of the only ones on city property
Okay.
in Northeast Ohio. We get a really big draw for their Friday night light races and their various organized weekend races that they have throughout the year. I know we get requests in our office, people from Pennsylvania bringing campers in.
That's great.
And things of that nature. So, yeah, it's unique. We have some things that not a lot of other communities nearby have in that regard.
Yeah, it's great to see. I know we've gone out and gotten drone footage of those spaces and talking to people that just happen to be there
Right.
when you're there, and they travel in from all over. And then there's local people that compete that are nationally ranked in the RC racing as well as the disc golf, and making it a profession out there. So it's kind of unique to see some local people doing well in those kind of unique fields.
Yeah. One thing to touch on with that is many years ago when these amenities were added to our parks, we have to give credit to the volunteers that essentially created those. The city obviously gave them permission to use the space, but we have some very dedicated volunteers that still to this day are taking care of city property and keeping these amenities up to par.
Right. A place worth traveling to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Volunteers make the world go round.
Right.
Let's be honest about that. Thank you, volunteers.
Well, then you didn't even touch on the other hidden gem in our parks is our bike trails.
Yeah. So we have about 16 miles of single track trail at Reagan Park and Huffman Cunningham Park. Those trails were developed in the early 90s. It was kind of a rogue group, if you will. They just kind of went and did what they wanted to do.
But we still love rogue volunteers.
We still do, yeah. There's many out there. It's getting harder to volunteer. We have a lot of paperwork and things
For
that they
sure.
need to do, but there's still people out there, that are just giving
Yes.
an extra hand or two. But yeah, the mountain bike trails were initially developed by all volunteers. We have a couple collaborations with the Cleveland Area Mountain Bike Association, CAMBA. We have some local bike shops in town, Spin being one of them, Century Cycles obviously, but they recently closed up doors. And then there's the Medina Bicycle Shop as well. We've established those relationships with those businesses because a lot of those guys and patrons of those businesses see the investment, sweat equity, if you will, from
Absolutely.
the volunteers. Recently, probably in the last 10 years, we've got a core group of volunteers that we brought on seasonal staff, and we actually pay them now. And the reason we do that is so that they can do their work more efficiently. They
Yeah.
can use city equipment because they're city employees. If there's issues, we can pass it along to them. It gets taken care of right away. It's not taken away
Like
from
if they have to clean something up on the trail or
yeah,
do things
trees,
like that. Yep.
anything, wet spots, hazards, they can take care of those for us. And, they track what they do. They monitor our Facebook pages. They're communicating with the public. So it's taken a while to get to that point, but it's an amenity that is very important to us here. Again, we're pulling from everywhere for those trails. You go down to Huffman Cunningham Park on a nice weekend, you'll see license plates from all kinds
over.
of different states.
That's neat.
Yeah.
You touched on it. I was going to ask you, where can people find out more information about the parks and which amenities are at what location?
Yeah, so you just go to the City of Medina website, medinaoh.org, go to the parks page, and we have interactive brochure on there. You can click, and it'll kind of give you a rundown of where our pavilions are, things of that nature. There's also a direct link that'll take you to the rec center, because our page is integrated with their page. That's where all of our reservations for pavilions and things of that nature can be found.
And in case you're just tuning in, we're just speaking with Jansen Wehrley with the City of Medina. Wears man of many hats, the parks, forestry. We're going to have this down pat by the end, aren't we? Cemetery, rec center, a lot of that going on.
Just call them if you need
and it's
something to
actually, it's got to be a great job in the fact that you get to see all this great development that's going on. I know you just touched on the park side of things. The other one would be the Memorial Pool. That's seen a lot of changes here in the last few years.
Yeah, we renovated the pool. Well, we finally decided to renovate the pool in 2016. It was completed in 2018. Originally built in 1950, and then again added on to in the late 70s, I believe it was. So we completely rebuilt that. It's actually a pool inside a pool inside a pool.
Oh, wow. Another unique
history
amenity
people out
within
there.
the
Right.
Yes.
But it was an important amenity. It was valuable to the community. Council decided, that was something that, we needed
To
to have.
invest in.
Yeah. You're never going to make money operating a pool, especially, at the city level.
No matter how many concessions you sell.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you're dealing with a lot of variables with short season, Ohio weather. You never know if it's going to be 80 or if it's going to be,
Could be an ice skating rink, really.
Yeah, so we partnered obviously with the rec center there to operate the outdoor pool because we have all the lifeguards at the indoor pool. Really helps us with programming and swim lesson opportunities because you can sign up for lessons outdoors. If it rains, we go
Move
indoors. So it's really been a collaborative effort to operate it, and we've been keeping our heads above water, if you will.
No pun intended. Yeah.
We
No
love
pun
a good
intended.
pun around here.
Yeah, that's right.
Bring
That's
'em.
good.
So, and you talked about it too. There's been a lot of evolution and change at the rec center, and that is something that falls under your purview. You want to talk about some of the development there?
Yeah, so obviously with COVID, rec center wasn't a very busy place for a variety of reasons. But it also gave us an opportunity to figure out how we could work better with the Parks Department and get out in the community and kind of have a presence. So when I took on the responsibility of the rec center, under the initial leadership of the full-time staff that we have there, some of which have been there since the rec center opened 20 years ago, we kind of reimagined, we rebranded, and we decided it was a good opportunity to invest in replacing equipment, some facility updates, to be able to attract new members and former members back to the facility. It's been kind of a long, basically 4 years. We recently did our fitness room edition, and our staff is doing a good job of communicating with the patrons, figuring out what they want to, what they want as
at
far
the rec
as
center,
as far as programs, equipment, things of that nature, and we're listening to them and continuing to do upgrades and keeping it fresh. And we've seen a lot of growth with membership lately. Completely renovated our leisure pool, which is a big attraction for us, especially in the off season, the fall, winter, early spring. Lots of birthday parties, lots of kids.
Yeah.
And it's
A great resource in the community.
absolutely.
I have to give a plug too. The Chamber of Commerce has had a long-standing partnership with the rec center where members of the Chamber of Commerce get a discount on their membership at the rec, which is a great employee benefit, so we can get a happy, healthy
20%.
20% of the in-city
right on
rate,
it,
my friend. Like, it's legit awesome. So if you are a chamber member, ask about that.
Or if you're not.
Or if you're not, ask about that because it's a great perk to pass along to your employees. But it's a beautiful facility. It's lovely to go in and use all of what is there.
And I think that's key. You touched on it there, and as you were explaining that to us, that you look to cater or customize it to the people that come in there. I mean, a lot of times you see those rec centers that come in and they just put the equipment there and don't make those adjustments, don't evolve with equipment, don't stay up to date with things, and you'll see it. Those kind of places start to fail, and you guys have done a nice job here over the last 4 or 5 years to get that feedback from your patrons and make the investment into improving all the areas.
Yeah, and we're finally fully staffed at the rec center because we can support
congratulations.
that. Yeah. So part of being full staff is we filled our last program specialist position. So programs drive membership.
Yep.
So the summer camp that we have, we collaborated with a school last year to use the junior commons instead of the rec center for summer camp because it makes pickup drop off a lot easier for the parents.
You're welcome, parents.
Don't even need to get out of their car. And I believe we have over 80 kids registered for this summer.
Great.
And we're still looking to grow that. Our youth basketball program was very successful this year. We took on a number of corporate sponsors and, looking for ways to add like value to a family membership. So our pricing, we have different pricing for members versus non-members, and trying to develop more programs for younger kids, for adults as well and seniors,
Sure.
to that value added.
You got to keep those seniors busy. Keep them out of trouble. Got to keep them occupied.
But you're right. That's a great program with your silver sneakers, and then also what a great way if your child's in a program, you could go work out for 20 minutes while they're in there doing a class or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a great benefit where the whole family can be involved and enjoy themselves and get healthy. And that's what we love to see here in Medina is a lot of people staying healthy and living a long life here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our motto is family, fitness, fun, recreation for everyone. So.
Oh, see, there you
Look
go.
at that. You should have led with that. That's
Yeah,
great.
can we get some music behind that? Make it a jingle,
Right.
and I see
Maybe we can
some,
edit that in.
Yeah,
Yes.
some advertising there for that. I like that.
Insert Jared singing.
No, you don't want that. That'll lose viewers. But now, so that's touch on the rec center. I'm going to go back one because we didn't get a chance to touch on it a little bit when you talked about the pools. The splash pads, the 2 splash pads we have that when it's a hot summer day, kind of talk us through where those are located and how people can take advantage of that.
Yeah, so we have 2 splash pads. One is at Ray Mellert Park, just about maybe 2 blocks from Memorial Pool. And then the other one is out on the south end of town at Fred Greenwood Park. They're not exactly the same as far as how they operate, which is kind of neat. There's a lot of people when we tell them there's a splash pad at Ray Mellert Park, they're like, I drive by there all the time and it's never on. Well, you have to be on the pad for it to turn on, but it shoots water jets.
Oh, so super efficient that
Yeah,
way.
15 plus feet up in the air, and it's just a completely different design to it, and it's neat. We get a lot of pavilion rentals out of those. The splash pads typically operate, one turns on at 11 a.m., the other one turns on at noon at Ray Mellert Park, but they go till about 8 o'clock at night, 7 days a week, and they're free to the public, which I think is unique. They're not always free in other communities. There's some restrictions. Some communities even have splash pad attendants that stay there and kind of keep control on the numbers. But we really haven't, over the years, we haven't experienced many issues at all.
The system has worked.
Yeah, it's worked, and it offers people in the community and surrounding communities an opportunity to enjoy our parks at no additional cost. There's value to that. Hopefully they come into town and they support a local ice cream shop or another chamber business maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, please. Visit our website for our
Right.
chamber directory.
Yes, and that's just a great advantage for, again, great opportunities that the city offers for people to take advantage, and makes it a great city to come work, play, and just have fun.
a good day.
Yeah.
So
See, you're rhyming now too.
I'm really feeling this bounce. Unique thing, as the theme of the podcast has been, do you want to brag a little bit about the cemetery?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the question,
Right?
but there we go.
Yeah.
It's something to be
Yeah,
proud of in a weird way.
Earlier we mentioned Memorial Day being close by. Our staff's been working really hard to get ready for the weekend. But our cemetery, it's Spring Grove and Old Town up by the square. we have a really good relationship with Friends of the Cemetery.
Awesome
and
organization.
I had mentioned earlier that, without the work of volunteers in the community, we wouldn't have a lot of, or things wouldn't be as nice as
sure.
what they are right now. But the Friends have donated well over $1 million over the years to help beautify and preserve Spring Grove. They've built a new office building for us to operate out of, which is, single-handedly changed the way we do business there.
Yeah.
It's a much more pleasant environment when when you're in a time of need and you're visiting the cemetery. It's never easy,
Right.
but now we have a great place to operate out of.
Help it be a little bit more comfortable.
Right, yeah. They've helped us renovate buildings. They have built the Pat Mears Garden and the reflecting pond. They kind of kick-started our columbarium walls that we have.
Yeah.
So that relationship is, really important to the city, that we continue that, and they continue their membership campaigns and fundraising because of all the money that's earned through their nonprofit ends up coming back to the cemetery. We did just do a unveiling of the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. And we recently became a arboretum with the help of the
That's
Friends
so
of the
cool.
Cemetery. So a lot of good things going on there.
Well, it's amazing too, because a lot of people, like you said, always think of a cemetery as kind of being that, gloomy, kind of depressing kind of place, where this is actually, because it being the arboretum and the work that's been done there, a lot of people think of it as a park almost, as opposed to being a cemetery. They go through there, walk through there, and I know there's always the things showing the history of Medina. People come in and do tours, giving the history of
Yeah.
some of the people in Medina, but it's a really unique, for a cemetery, it's a really unique situation.
Right, and I know there's a lot of genealogy people in the community.
So popular right now.
There's a new program that we bought a little over a year and a half ago. It's called Plotbox. We digitized all of our records at the cemetery, and we did a drone flyover and overlaid the imagery with our CAD files.
Oh, wow.
So if you go to medinaoh.org on the cemetery's website, you can click a link that says search burial records. That'll take you to Plotbox, and you can type in anybody who's buried at Spring Grove, and it'll pull up their information. You can actually get walking directions to their grave, which is pretty neat. So if you know anybody, in Medina and you want to know if they're buried at Spring Grove and you find them, it'll take you right to their grave from your smart device.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, think about people doing genealogy
Oh, yeah.
and maybe
The
not knowing their
ancestry.
family
Yeah.
history,
Yeah.
and you can show them right exactly where to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
I love it.
So among your other many hats, you also still have one other department we haven't touched on, and it's kind of one that you kind of came up through the ranks in, and that's
Yeah.
through the forestry department.
Yeah, it holds a close place in my heart. That's essentially what turned me on to working in the outdoors. I'd started at the cemetery, like I had mentioned earlier, and then moved on to our forestry department. When I left the city, I went and did commercial and residential tree work, and then went to college, got my bachelor's degree, and then went back and got an associate's degree in arboriculture and urban forestry.
That just means trees.
Yeah,
That's real fancy. It's trees.
technical.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, an opportunity arose where the city forester position was open, and that's essentially how I got in here full-time with the city. So obviously learned a lot over the years in that role, and still am connected to it. And we have a small group of guys that maintain about 14,000 street trees.
That seems like a big number.
and then to back up for those that know, street trees would be those that are between the sidewalk and the curb.
Yep, correct. And our forestry department's evolved over the years too. When I first started, it was just myself and a part-time employee. Now we have a full-time employee that works with the city arborist every day. And we also collaborate through shared workforce with our parks department, our cemetery, and our forestry department. Those three
Efficiencies,
departments
yeah.
are basically interchangeable depending on the needs. So when we do all of our pruning in the forestry departments, typically late fall and all winter long, our work in the parks department has kind of fallen off because our peak season is basically April through the end of October. So we move employees from the parks department over to the forestry department to help us keep up with our tree pruning. If you know anything about trees,
I sure don't.
They certainly don't stay small. So they keep
Unless
growing.
they're dead and not growing blue spruce in my backyard.
They continue to appreciate and value, and it takes longer to take care of them the longer they've been around. So the department has to grow as the trees grow, and that's how we've been handling it right now. And we do everything now. We don't really rely too much on contractors. The guys are very skilled.
You have more control then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super important question, Jansen. How's your landscaping at your home?
I would say it's up to par.
Okay, all right.
My
do you
standards.
feel like pressure's on? Like,
You're just thinking if he works so hard at work and maybe not so much at home.
The cobbler's kids went without shoes. Thought he was going to be like, I just have a rock yard.
Yeah. No, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually did that yesterday. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's kind of, my role overseeing many departments is to kind of observe, listen, be there for problems that they can't figure out, but at the same time help instill those values that I have and standards that, anybody in the community would expect. So, Parks and Rec, it's not all ushy-gushy and, this playground's beautiful. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that people don't understand,
Sure.
You got to check restrooms every day. You got to make sure you have toilet paper every day.
The basics.
Those are the basics.
It's important, yeah.
You got to empty the trash cans.
Yes.
You got to clean. You got to, mow the grass. You got to weed whack. You got to drag the baseball fields. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And usually, we've done a good job of being proactive and trying to take care of that stuff through, hiring good employees and training them to do things the way that we want them done. But, it never fails in the Parks and Rec industry. People will point out when there's a problem.
Sure.
And it's usually because one of those things I just mentioned
One of the basics
didn't get
isn't
done.
done.
Yeah.
But they're not calling and being like, I just want to reward you for all the trash cans being empty.
Right.
Yeah. But we're proud
Thanks
of
for
you,
all
buddy.
the toilet paper.
Yes.
Yeah. When you run out, you're going to hear it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yep.
A lot like that. But yeah, you bring up a good point, though. I mean, having to wear so many hats and handle it that well, it takes a good staff that you can rely on to help you get that job done.
Yeah, and we're really, really fortunate that we, don't have a lot of turnover with our staff. Most of our employees, actually all of them, reside in Medina County.
That's amazing.
Many of which are in the city. But, a lot of, what I do and what I expect of our staff, it all starts at the top, here at the city. And Mayor Hanwell's, a great example, sets a great example for collaborating and, there's no job that he won't do.
Absolutely.
And, I kind of touched on that in the
I've seen
beginning.
that man pick up more trash than, than
Yeah, so, I try to take the time when I can to get out in the field when I'm not behind the desk and talk to our staff and, let them know they're doing a good job, or do you need help with anything? And I'm not afraid to start a weed whacker for them or any of that stuff. So
that's what we should have done. We should have done hands-on examples today.
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
He'd have us mowing and weed whacking while we were talking.
That's
Yeah. He'd put us to work.
Yeah.
But no, it's a lot of great things, and kudos to you for having to switch hats and handle all these departments. And it's a great commendation to you because you see it with council. They trust you very much, the mayor as well, the work you've put in, and they really respect everything you've done for all these departments. And you can see that when you have to go to them for anything. They are very receptive and appreciate all the hard work you do.
You do a great job.
Yeah, I think if I can interject, there's
Yes.
a couple, hot topics here that we haven't touched on.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it.
Bring it.
So, obviously the city received ARPA funds, and the Parks Department was a big receptor of
Yep.
those funds. We were able to accomplish a lot of projects that we would have never been able to accomplish, like completely renovating our skate park for close to $300,000. That was huge. We replaced lights on one of our baseball fields, one of the 14 baseball fields that we
Nice.
have. And we were able to do a stream bank restoration project down there at Huffman Cunningham Park, where we were about to lose a soccer field because of the west branch of the Rocky River.
Yeah.
So to your point with,
Yeah.
council and the importance of communicating with them and earning a certain level of trust, it definitely helps when it comes to, trying to get things accomplished that I want to get done.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to piggyback on that with an additional question about projects, because I've been in meetings talking about like the connectivity of pathways throughout the city and throughout the county. Is there any movement on that you want to share?
Yeah. So Andrew Dutton, our community development director, probably has a lot more on that than I do.
Mental note, get
Yeah,
Andrew on the
Andrew-
podcast.
Podcast.
Put it in my phone. Andrew coming up.
Yeah.
Chainsaw and Andrew, got it.
Yeah, so we did just council approved the multi-purpose path connectivity plan, where we looked at all of the multi-purpose trails in the city, all the Medina County parks, multi-purpose trails in surrounding townships, and identified, I guess, in layman's terms, the paths of least resistance and prioritize those. So we already applied for grant funding to do an extension of Champion Creek from Smith Road down by Spokes all the way up through the square on
I think
Broadway
that's
Street.
such a big deal. I
Yeah.
think that's so cool, and that'll be something.
Having the
years-
plan as a start.
That's what I'm saying. Years from now, people are going to be like, "Thank you for somebody that took that first step."
Yeah.
And like we're in that first step phase, and that's exciting.
Yeah. And a shout out to connecting to, or the opportunity to further connect to the Medina County Park District, because
great
that's another
partners.
hidden
Yep.
gem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got it almost close. I could almost bike to work from where I live.
See,
They're starting to
that's-
put all the pavement in. I can almost make it all the way now, and that's over some heavy traffic. There's just one or two intersections a little scary.
We're just trying to help you get to work and clock in, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But think how great that is. I mean, just
Oh yeah.
even if you're not biking, just to walk those trails, even if you want to walk downtown and enjoy
Go
an
to
evening.
the farmers market on
Yeah,
the weekend
yeah.
and all of it. So I just think that's so exciting. So kudos to you for being a part of those conversations, making it happen.
Yeah, any other exciting news here you want to share?
No.
Okay, well, how about the best place we covered a lot of information. The best place for people to find out more if they need to look for it.
Well, we can always turn to social media.
Yep.
If you want anything regarding the rec center, go to Medina Recreation Center on Facebook. You'll see links to our registration software, to the events that we have. That's a great go-to spot. If you're looking to go to the outdoor pool, Medina Memorial Pool has a Facebook page, as well as the City of Medina Parks and Recreation Department. The website's usually the best
Good
because we have
starting
kind of everything pulled together there. But if you're looking for, fresh updates relatively regularly, Facebook would be the way to go. But our website would definitely have, all the information, contacts for various sports associations that we have. They also have their own Facebook pages. But or if you don't have a computer, you can always call our office, 330-721-6950.
That's great.
There you go.
We just want people out and about and enjoying
Exactly.
the amenities.
Right.
So.
Enjoy all the great things that happen here and that happen under your guidance here in the city of Medina. A lot of great things. And we definitely appreciate your time here today. Again, with Jansen Wehrley with the city of Medina. And it's great. I know we kind of condensed it all in a quick nutshell here for the broadcast, but definitely go to the website, check out a lot of the stuff, the parks, forestry, cemetery, just a lot of great things going on here for the city. And we appreciate everything you're doing with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, thanks for your time today.
Yeah. And Jacqueline, anything comment from the chamber?
Again, talking about that rec center programming, the partnership is great, and if you are a chamber member, please take advantage of it. If you're not a chamber member, call me, find out how to, because you're missing a great deal with that rec center.
Yeah, great. And then from our standpoint, Medina TV just came off two great live streaming broadcasts of the Career Center ceremony, senior ceremony, and then also Medina High School commencement ceremony.
Congratulations,
Yes.
graduates.
Yes, congratulations to all the graduates out there, and you can see those replayed on Medina TV. And we now are live streaming on the web as well, so you can go to medinatv.org and click on the live streams there if you want to watch both our schools and government channels on those stations. So make sure you check that out. And I think that'll wrap us up here for this episode of Medina Matters.
Until next time.
That's right. I'm Jared Fry for Jacqueline Rinksmeyer and Jansen Wehrley. We want to thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.